Assalamualaikum, my lecturer Dr. Farah and my fellow friend. Today I want to explain about technology in remote sensing. As we know, we require to do our individual assessment, that is video about technology in remote sensing. Many of technology that we use in remote sensing, but today I want to explain four only technology that we use in remote sensing. First of all, I want to explain what is remote sensing. Basically, remote sensing is a major source of data and information. Using the remotely sensed image, we can obtain up-to-date, cheaper and larger variety of data for different applications, including environment protection. In order to explore the information stored in remote sensing data, the appropriate information has to be extracted and presented in standard format. The process, which usually is used for extracting information from the image, is based on
remote. That means something which is not exactly in contact or in physical contact, something which is far away. The far away could be something which is slightly away or even very far away. And sensing, the second word, sensing means getting information, getting data, getting any input. The input could be something like temperature, pressure, a photograph. When you look at these two terms, remote sensing, normally people just think of one technology, and that is the satellite remote sensing. Well, sensu stricto, remote sensing is used primarily for the technology where we have sensors on board satellites orbiting around the Earth, which have scanners and cameras on them, which are scanning the Earth's surface and relaying the images down. And since it's collecting information about the Earth's surface from far away, this term aptly applies to this phenomena. But if you look at it in the broader sense of the word, even things like your sonograph, your medical imaging, even simple x-rays, they are all remote sensing, because you're getting information or you're getting data about things without actually being in physical contact with it.
You're going to explore, how do smartphones take pictures? So let's dive into this complex system. To start, we are going to divide the system into its components or subsystems and lay them out into this systems diagram. First of all, we need an input to tell the smartphone to load the camera app and take a picture. This input is read via a screen that measures changes in capacitance and outputs x and y coordinates of one or multiple touches. This input signal feeds into the central processing unit or CPU and random access memory or RAM. Here, the CPU acts as the brain and thinking power of a smartphone, while the RAM is the working memory. It's kind of like what you are thinking of at any moment. Software and programs such as the camera app are moved from the smartphone's storage location, which in this case is a solid-state drive, and into the random access memory. It would be wasteful if your smartphone always had the camera app loaded into its active working memory or RAM. It's like if you always thought of what you were going to eat at your next meal. It's tasty, but not efficient. Once the camera software is loaded, the camera is activated. A light sensor measures the brightness of the environment, and a laser rangefinder measures the distance to the objects in front of the camera. Based on these readings, the CPU and software sets the electronic shutter to limit the amount of incoming light, while a miniature motor moves the camera's lens forwards or backwards in order to get the object in focus. The active image from the camera is sent back to the display, and depending on the environment, an LED light is used to illuminate the scene. Finally, when
Brought to you by the United States Air Force. An echo radar emits a sound wave and then waits for the echo to come back to its receiver. By timing the returning echo, you can work out exactly where another object is. And when using multiple receivers positioned at different angles, it can determine the basic size of an object that the sound waves have bounced off of. But if we add an additional layer, we move into Doppler radars. Doppler radars emit a radio wave too, but also keep track of the radio wave's phase. Basically, its shape, position, and form. When the radio wave returns, it's measured again to check for any changes in its phase. If the frequency came back shifted negative, the object it bounced off of is likely moving away from the radar, and if the frequency came back positive, that object is headed toward the radar. Speed can be determined by the amount of shift that takes place in the radio wave. And this technology is used every day by the United States airmen who go above and beyond to break barriers both professionally and personally every day. Oh, and ever wonder what radar stands for? Well, it's an acronym for radio detection and ranging.
Forests, and even buildings. It's a lot like sonar, which uses sound waves to map things, or radar, which uses radio waves to map things, but a LiDAR system uses light, sent out from a laser. But aren't lasers used for stuff like, I don't know, scanning barcodes, making your favorite band look awesome, removing hair? Ew. Seriously, how does a LiDAR system use lasers to measure stuff? Now, just for the record, there are different ways to collect LiDAR data. From the ground, from an airplane, or even from space.